Hi guys, welcome back to Casually Crafted. My name is Ashley and this is Crafty Chat number 23. So today I'm going to talk about everything I did throughout the month of June, and I'm going to combine this with my talking about the goals that I had in June and how I did on that, because basically not very much is actually finished, so it'll be easier just to put them all together. So I'm going to just go down my list of goals that I had, and then I'll show you what I've done or my progress or whatever. So the first ones are my crochet alongs. So the mile a minute blanket from Jada and Stitches for the month of June. So I chose yellow and orange to kind of represent the sun. So I did get this done. And then the second crochet along that I'm doing is the Birthstone Mal AU with Judy from Witch Piece Craft, and I did not get that one done. I started it. So for what I'm making a baby sensory book, and so each page of the book has different textured stitches. So this one, they called it like the linked cable stitch, but it's also known as like the Jacob's ladder, I think. So it has these little loops that you kind of braid together as you go up. As you can see, I didn't get very far. I only have 2 rows of loops. I did choose gray. I wanted to do a cream for pearl, but none of my cream that I had was like shimmery or didn't have enough shine to it, I guess. So this gray, I don't know what it is. It's almost purplish looking. Like kind of purplish in real life, not as purple as it's showing right there. But yeah, so that's what I'm using for that. So I'll still need to finish that before I can start on July for this. The next one was finish the baby blanket. So I don't have that here right now. I'm making a moss stitch triangles baby blanket. So I was going to make 4 triangles and put them together. And at the end of last month, I said all I needed to do was put them together. So I pulled them all out, laid them out, and then the last triangle that I did, even though it's the same number of rows, is somehow bigger. So I think what happened was I used a larger hook. So instead of frogging that one, I just pulled out a new cake of yarn because I had extras of that color, and I started a new triangle. So that one I'm still working on. Number 3 is swimsuit cover, which is a poncho by Bag O' Day. So I did work on it a little bit. It's still not super big. So like I mentioned, this is kind of my park project. So when we take the kids to the park for the summer and just like sit and watch them play, I can work on this. But I do have a 7-month-old baby who now knows how to crawl. So if she's not sleeping, I kind of can't work on this as much as I would like. So I'm still working on that, but I did make a little bit of progress. And this is, I'll link which poncho it is in the description box, but I'm using Shawl and a Cake by Lion Brand, and this is the color Jade Pool. So it's all those aqua colors that I like. Okay, number 4 was craft fair items. So our farmer's market here starts this week. So that's why I haven't gotten a lot of other stuff done, because that's the thing I've mostly been working on. So I was doing mostly working on scrunchies, necklaces, and the displays. So it's because I had already finished like a lot of headbands, and that was my other main thing. So I don't have any of those to show you. I was just painting some displays, so I have like paint on my fingers. I did add some things to that. Sorry, this bag's like falling over. So one thing that I wanted to try making was a coin purse out of those like flexible top thingies where you like squeeze it and it pops open. So I did follow a tutorial for this, and once I perfect it, I might try to sell these at the craft fairs. But so this one I used a Karen Concake from last summer. Oh, I'm just dropping everything. I'm like piled on top of kids' toys down here, and it's just not working out. Okay, so here's it. So her pattern, basically you make it, you just single crochet around and around and around and around until you get it as tall as you want, and you try to make it as wide as the topper thing. I think I'd made it a little too wide at the top because trying to get it in, you make like a little, I'm not explaining this very well. You crochet all the way up and like extra, and you fold that over, and then you're shoving this little piece of metal in there. So this top part is more scrunched than this. Like this was the same size. And so because of that, it's not as bad now, but my husband like messed with it. But it wasn't closing. It wasn't closing all the way. There was like a little gap. And so I think there was just too much yarn and stuff going on in here because of it being too wide, or just because of it being too thick of a yarn. I wasn't really sure. So that was my first one. My second one just happened to be a little bit thinner of a yarn, but I made sure to keep it skinnier so that it wouldn't be so bunched up here. And then for this part, I did a few rows of double crochet instead of single crochet. I thought that might make less yarn all together. I haven't woven in my ends, obviously. So that one did close a little better. It's also thinner yarn, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So I'm going to keep experimenting with these. I have like a pack of 20 that I bought on Amazon. So we'll see how those go. If I can get it down, I might sell these at the craft fairs. Otherwise, I'll just have a bunch of random pouches for no reason. And then I also added making kitchen scrubbies to the craft fair stuff with some of the Hobby Lobby Scrubology yarn. So I made, I used a whole skein of pink, and I got 4 and then like a little one, a little bit smaller, out of one. And then I started purple, and then I have one more ball of blue. So really I'll only have 12, yep, I can do math. Yep, 12 total of this size scrubby at the craft fair, but we'll see. I don't really have a way of getting more because there's no Hobby Lobbies near me, so if they sell really good, I might have to stock up next time. Okay, where? Oh, I dropped it, that's where. Okay, next on my list was start temperature blanket. So I'm making a temperature blanket for my baby, so from her birthday to her first birthday. And I've done that for my other 2 kids as well. I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I wanted to figure out how much yarn each day would take so that while I was at Hobby Lobby, I could buy enough yarn to make it through the end of the project. So I did do like the base row and then one day, and one of these days I'll make a video and show you like how I made their blankets. And since they're all girls, I'm doing them all the same way. So then I was able to weigh in grams like the difference between the base row and then the one day, and get an idea of how many grams each day would make. But I think my math for how many like starting chains I did, because I couldn't find the exact tutorial or pattern that I used for the other girls, I think I made it too long. So I might frog that part and then take some chains off and start over, which is fine because even though I bought extra yarn, it would just be extra, not enough, if that makes sense. If I make it smaller, it'll take less yarn per day. There we go. So my next one was I wanted to make a patriotic banner. So I had a pattern of like this half doily thing that somebody made for Valentine's Day, and I thought it'd be cute in red, white, and blue. I don't know where I just put it. Sorry, it's late. For those of you who are new, I record when all my kids and husband are sleeping. So sometimes I'm not quite awake. So I made one and there's no ends woven in. So this is all just cotton. It's like lily and cream and sugar and cream, like a mixture of both. I can't decide if I like it or not, so I haven't made more. And at this point, it might be too late to make it before 4th of July. So yeah, you're supposed to make a bunch of these and then single crochet along the top of all of them to connect them. So I don't know if I'll finish that or not because I wasn't loving it. I did it in a smaller hook first, I think an H hook, and then I didn't like it, and so I did it in the I hook, and I still don't know if I like it. So yeah, so that's that. I at least tried. The next one was work on a section of my diamond painting, nativity diamond painting, and I didn't do that at all. So I'll have to do 2 sections in July, which is fine. They're not that big. I just have to get it out and leave it at the table for a few days. And sometimes my kids have crafts at the table too. So yeah. Number 8 was make another canvas for my daughter's name, Eleanor. I only have 1 letter done, and I didn't do it. So 2 things I didn't do at all. My next one was make 1 to 2 towel toppers. So I finally did work on this. The first one, let's see, is kind of a weird, different version of a towel topper. Basically, it's just a little triangle that you crochet and then you sew to the edge. And I'll post a picture of how it looks hanging. You like take the bottom through here or something. I can't remember how I did it. And then it hangs down kind of like this. So it doesn't hang flat, it's like sideways. But this towel, I don't feel like it's really that much bigger than a normal towel, but the way it hangs, it basically went to my floor from my oven handle door. So I wasn't loving that. So I didn't make any more this style. And then I wanted to experiment with making my own design of towel topper. So I really like the way Pamela from Pamela's Adoring Crochet does cutting the towel in half and making 2 towels because I'm cheap and I like that idea. What I didn't love about it was that when you cut a towel and then you're like crocheting into the edge, that unless you go to your sewing machine and sew it down, you have all these fuzzies coming off. And sometimes you can see those through the stitches, and I wasn't loving that. So I made like a Thanksgiving one. What I did, and this was kind of a practice one, so it's not super straight. It kind of goes up a little bit. So basically what I did was I took a needle and thread and just sewed a straight line. So just straight stitch back and forth, and then back and forth, so that there's just a straight line of yarn going across. And then I crocheted into each loop all the way around. And I did double crochets. And I don't think I decreased at the beginning. I'm going to have to do this again so I can remember how I did it exactly. That was a few weeks ago too. So I just went around and around a few different times, and maybe I decreased after like the first 2 rows. And then once I got to the top of the towel, I did this kind of low. I'd probably do it up a little bit higher because the towel is like right here. Then I crocheted through both layers. So there's 2 layers basically, one on the front and one on the back, until I got to a certain point, and then I just combined them and then went back and forth instead of around and around. And I did do like front loop, back loop, whatever to get little ridges just to make it interesting. And yeah, and then I just decided how long I wanted it. And I think at the end I did do a row of single crochet all the way around, and I just skipped a stitch here to make a buttonhole. I didn't do anything fancy. And I just sewed the button on. So yeah, one of these days I'll do it again and like write stuff down because it was mostly just an experiment to see if it would work. So I can tell like this side is not the same as this side as far as like number of stitches or like that might not really centered, stuff like that. But I was happy with how it turned out. The basic gist of it, I guess, worked the way I wanted it to. So I was happy with that. Okay, my very last goal was to make a baby sun hat, and I did do that, and it's too big for her head. I'm really good at making kids' hats really big or really small for their heads. So, but here it is. This is a Mainstays from Walmart. They're 100% cotton. And the only change I think I made in this pattern was I didn't do, I think you're supposed to do one more row of this edging, and I just did two because I knew it was going to be big on her. And I picked this color to try to match her swimsuit, and it's close enough. It was the closest I could get it. So, and I'll have the pattern for that linked below because I can't remember off the top of my head it was a YouTube tutorial, I'm pretty sure. So that's all my goals. I did do one more project that I don't have because it was a gift and it was like a last minute thing. We were invited to a birthday party for this little boy turning 3, and his party theme was snakes, and we didn't think we were gonna be able to make it, and then we found out we could. So I had about an hour to figure out something to bring to his party, and we don't live in a very big town. There's like one store you could shop at for toys, and it's not that exciting. So I figured a snake would be easy enough to crochet in an hour. So yeah, like I said, that was yesterday, so I don't have it here, but I have some pictures. I just found a YouTube tutorial on how to make a snake, and they used like blanket yarn, so it's like big and fluffy. And I used Lion Brand Ferris wheel in the color, I wrote it down, Evergreen, and I used a G-hook, so it was a lot smaller. That's okay. So his head was like maybe this big, and then I made him, I don't know, this wide. I don't know, I didn't measure him. I just kind of kept going. I wanted to like go through some color changes to make it interesting, but I was running out of time to like go any further, so I had to stop at some point. And then I happened to have some safety eyes that were probably the right size for him. If I would have done a big one, I don't have any big ones, so it worked out. So yeah, that is my last finished object. Obviously not very many finished projects this time. So for goals for next month, they're not that exciting. So I need to do July's Mile a Minute strip, and for July I'm doing blue and red for like 4th of July. I don't need to do white, it's fine. Then for the birthstone one, I need to obviously finish June, and then I haven't picked which stitch I'm going to do for July, but I'll probably just do a basic red for Ruby. I definitely need to finish that baby blanket. She's having her baby on the 31st of this month, so I need to get that done. I'm gonna keep working on the poncho. Since I'm using it as a swimsuit cover, I need to have that done by like the first week of August, or maybe the second week of August, because we'll be going to a lake for a family reunion. So that's my end goal for that. And then I just have on here fair items as needed. So our first one is on this next Wednesday. If I sell lots of stuff, I might need to make more to replenish what I've sold, I guess. I don't know. And I did buy some towels specifically to make towel toppers for craft fairs. So I might spend a night just making a bunch of those. Then I have to do 2 sections of my diamond painting, my nativity diamond painting, and then I put canvases in question mark because obviously that's not a priority in my life right now. I might restart that temperature blanket, but yeah, the rest is just blank because I don't know if I want to start anything new right now or just continue on what I'm already doing. So if I get bored of everything I've already got going, I'll pick something to start. But not super exciting goals at the moment. But it is early. It's only July 2nd, so I can keep adding to my goals for the month, I guess. So I think that is everything. And if you're new here, thank you for stopping by, and maybe subscribe if you want to. Yeah, I was gonna talk about myself at the beginning and then I forgot. So like I said, we're not quite awake here all the time. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye guys.